How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So this is a bit of an update video more than anything else. In the last one, we spoke about some interesting way to gain some knowledge points with enchanting, and I also put out the question to you guys if any of you knew how in the world to get one of the enchanting recipes that has eluded most people up until this point. And it was after a few clever people put their brains together and figured this out. Big shout out I must give to the Discord, the WoW secret finding Discord. The guys in there's been a thread that's been running for days, weeks, months at this point trying to figure this out. And a couple of clever clogs came along and did it. What am I talking about though in a little bit more detail? Let's explain. So enchanters have a cool little specialization node called Primal Extract. And this led a few people to have some questions. The questions were really quite simple. What has this got to do with one of the recipes that nobody understood how to get? It was this one, the Primal Invocation Extract. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you exactly how you go about getting this, as it was figured out and I recorded me doing it. So you guys can see exactly what my progress was to be able to get this, and I'll talk through some of the things that I had to go through to make sure that it was a quick and easy and smooth progress. Now, the tagline for this was Discovery Glimmers of Illusion or something. So the discovery method was kind of vague. We didn't really understand what the hell we were doing, but we knew it had something to do with the storms. And there was the 4 glimmers that I talked about in the last video. The glimmer of fire, air, water, and something else. I can't remember. Earth, maybe. Those 4 glimmers, when you disenchant them, you get 3 knowledge points. But there was a 5th one. There was a 5th one that eluded people. It was a glimmer of order. Nobody really knew how to get it. And we suspected that until you get that 5th glimmer, there's no way to get the recipe for this. But I'll stop dawdling, I'll spill the beans. Let's have a look exactly how you go about getting this. So if you want to do it yourself, you can do such. I'll show you exactly what I did. A little bit of Inception here, Manthieus in Manthieus action. Let's play the video. This was me recording exactly what I was doing to try and get this. And can we go full screen? We can go full screen. A couple of things to note with this is that you are going to need your enchanting. You are going to need to put some points in some specific locations. I'll talk about those in a minute. But it was all to do with this pet. The Sophic Amalgamation. This pet was critical. You had to get this pet, and believe it or not, the weirdest thing, you had to disenchant the pet. Yes, never before have we had to disenchant a pet to get an item. God knows how somebody figured out that this was a thing, but as you can see, when you disenchant it, I got a resonant crystal and I got this glimmer of order. It still has the tagline, this was never available to players. Well, now it is. You disenchant this glimmer of order, that's going to give you 3 knowledge points. It in turn gave me 15 artisan's metal, so you can see that you get the 5 artisan's metal per knowledge point as well. But I still didn't get the recipe. So what's the trick here? Well, the trick seems to just be that it's not a guaranteed chance. You are probably going to have to disenchant a few of these pets if you want this recipe. I actually crafted 5 more of these pets just because I didn't know how many of them they were going to need. Luckily, they're not too expensive. 3 resonant crystals, 3 awakened order, 1,500 gold or so at current EU prices. Craft a bunch of these, disenchant a few more, and I think it was actually on my 2nd or maybe 3rd one I disenchanted, then I got the pattern. Let's just see it in action. I've crafted the 4th, I've crafted the 5th. Let's get some disenchanting on the go. And hey presto, Primal Invocation Extract. There we go, we've got it. So you can see that it may take you a few attempts. You may have to make a few of these pets. You may have to disenchant a few of these pets, but it's entirely possible to get the recipe this way. This is obviously only half of the story because the main thing that most people are actually after is the toy. This is still a bit of a mystery. So once again, if you do have some information on this, please feel free, comment section down below. The Primal Invocation Quintessence toy is what people are really hunting for, and it is a reward for a supreme invocation, We don't strictly know what that means or what it relates to, but, you know, getting the recipe we think was the first step. The toy actually shares a cooldown with the item. The item is an appearance-changing item. As you can see, it's changed me into something, some little green decay blob. There's a bunch, there's 5 or so that I've seen personally, different elementals it can change you into, but the toy is still a bit of a mystery. Anyway then, let's talk about what I had to do from a profession standpoint to get to this. Obviously, disenchanting the pet is the ticket to getting the recipe, but we do think there's a few things you need to do first. Initially, insight of the blue needs to be unlocked, and we have had it confirmed that you at least need Primal Extraction unlocked. It doesn't appear that you need to max this out. You can do it with 0 points, but you will notice 20 points in is the ability to make the pet in the first place. Something to note, you cannot buy the pet off the auction house. If you buy the pet off the auction house in its caged version, it can no longer be disenchanted. So you have to get the pet either crafted yourself personally, or you might want to put in a work order. If your alt has the ability to make this, if a friend or guild member has the ability to make this and you don't, you can put in a work order for the pet, get the pet, and then disenchant that one. That might save you having to put some points in here. The only thing that might mean that you do need at least Primal Extraction unlocked is the fact that those 5 glimmers first, the 4 glimmers we talked about in the last video, brief, refresher. The 4 glimmers you get by killing pretty much any mob in the 4 different types of storms. If you kill the rares, there's a much higher chance. If you get to the storm nice and early when the rares first spawn, you can pew one of those down and get the glimmer pretty quickly. You get the 4 glimmers from the storms, you get the 5th glimmer, as I showcased earlier, and once you've disenchanted all of those, that seems to do some hidden unlock ability for you to then be able to disenchant the pet and get the recipe. In terms of my sort of standing with enchanting, I was maxed when I did this. We don't know if that's a requirement or not, but some people have claimed that they've been able to get it without being fully maxed with enchanting, but, you know, your mileage may vary. I can only give you the information I know. But that, hopefully, boys and girls, will give you the ability to get the recipe. Now, in the next few days or weeks, the likelihood is that this probably won't be very profitable to craft and sell on the auction house. You can already see that it's not the cheapest of items, and it probably will stay this way for most of Dragonflight. But it's quite cool. Any item in the game, even, you know, Deviate Fish, for example, even from all the way back in vanilla, any item that gives a player the ability to change their appearance completely, usually you'll always find some buyers for. But of course, these items are on the region-wide auction house nowadays, and already the prices of the quality 1, 2, and 3 versions of these are being tanked. There are some good guys out there that are deliberately tanking the price of this right now, simply so that more people can buy the item, and more people can do some testing without it costing too much, to try and figure out how and when how you get the toy, basically. People are really still keen to try and get their hands on the toy. Once people have figured out how you get access to the toy, if it ends up having nothing to do with this whatsoever, then you might see the price of this slowly come back to a normal value. There's an interesting thing I should probably point out for you guys that maybe won't figure this out for yourself. I will spill the beans a little bit further for those that have made it nearly 9 minutes into the video. This, you can see it has a recipe difficulty of 300. Now, I'm pretty much tippity top with my enchanter. I've got many points in many places that should give me an advantage to this, but you can still see I'm miles behind. So how am I creating quality 3s of these? Well, your first and foremost, inspiration is key. With enough inspiration, you can proc into quality 3, but it is possible to guarantee quality 3 using a clever little mechanic that I only found out about with enchanting the other day, and it's by using the elemental shatter. If you shatter each of these elements, what it then does, if we go and we shatter one, I'll show you now. You get a little buff that pops up here, increasing a main stat ability by a certain amount. A secondary stat versatility is being increased by 421, but it's also increasing your skill when crafting with frost essences. These stack. If I do one of each, if I do one with air, if I do one with order, you can still see the buffs popping up here. They only last for 10 minutes. This obviously does heavily increase the price of crafting these, because this is not cheap to do in the first place. But using one of each, stacking the 5 buffs, now means you can go back to the Primal Invocation extract, and because each one of these gives you a 25 stacking skill buff, with all of these in play, you can see you can then guarantee quality 3 variations of these, meaning that if you have, say for example, a multi-craft rod for your enchanter, throw that on, guarantee yourself quality 3s, get yourself a really good, cheap, low crafting cost, and see if you can get out there and make some gold from these. Now, like I said, they're never going to be a big gold maker. They're just a cool little item in the game. It's by no means going to affect the way anybody plays. Some people might pick them up, some people may not. It's, you know, it's one of those. But I thought I'd let you guys know. So there's the information on that, boys and girls. Like I said, quick last reminder, if you have any idea how you unlock the toy, please let me know, or go speak to the guys in the WoW Secret Finding Guild Discord, sorry. I will leave a link in the description down below to that Discord. It's well worth having a look over there. There's seemingly a really cool community of players over there. I must admit, I'm quite new to it myself, but there's a bunch of unsolved mysteries, so if you have any information, jump in there, let the guys know. But I'll leave it there for today, boys and girls. I hope that was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.